Hello everybody, welcome. It's of course Sport Federation TV. Nice to have you along, and of course every week we take a look at what's happening in sport in the Western Cape. We speak about the various sport codes that of course are structured in South Africa, national codes that run through the various provinces and the various districts. Tonight we've got a full show for you as we look at the various federations, and one of the codes that you will know, in fact multiple codes within a code that we've been talking about for quite a while, is Western Cape Equestrian. Western Cape Equestrian has been doing some fantastic stuff as part of the South African Equestrian Federation. And one of the topics we've been looking to cover for a very long time is find out about the Lipizzaner Stallions that are here in Cape Town. And in studio with me is Jhani van der Berg, the stud manager. Jhani, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. We're so happy to be here.
Well, it's our first time to get you in here. We've been wanting to see what the Lipizzaner is about for ages now.
You know, we've always wanted to show them off, so I'm really happy that we could be here today. I mean, the boys are always excited to meet new people.
Showing them off is actually what you do, right?
I do. I am one of the performance riders. We perform regularly with them. You know, the first one of every month is show day, and I promise you, you have not seen something show off until you've seen these stallions go.
But isn't that the job? That's the job of Lipizzaners. Their sole job is showing off.
You know what? It is now. Once upon a time, about 400 years ago, they used to actually be war horses. So I always use the really easy story about, you know, you've always told the fairy tale of the princess stuck up in her tower, and then the knight shows up on his shining white stallion, and he rescues her from the fire-breathing dragon. It's not documented, but I'm quite sure that was a Lipizzaner, and their history has just continued throughout.
Well, I'm not sure how many fire-breathing dragons there are still around, but I believe that there are out there. So let's start with that. Tell us about the Lipizzaners, because we obviously want to find out about the program in South Africa, the activities, how it got to South Africa. But the Lipizzaner Stallions themselves, is that the origin? They're originally war horses?
So we have to really go back about 400 to 500 years ago to the Habsburg Empire. The Habsburg Empire wanted to breed a specific breed of horse that was not only noble, strong, but also incredibly brave. So they took horses from all around the world, from Bavarian descent, Arabian descent, all over, and they created the Lipizzaner. But of course now, if you're going to breed an incredible war horse, you need them to be rather noticeable on the battlefield. Yeah. So they started selectively breeding them to be white. Not only so that their generals stood out, but at that time they were also really known. White was a color of purity, of wealth, of honor. And what better message to send on a battlefield than that? So the Lipizzaners were bred for those. About 75 years ago, this year, we had someone bring the Lipizzaners here to South Africa.
Hang on, before we get to South Africa. There's a question that I really am curious about here, because you say that it started in the Habsburg Empire.
Yes.
But the global perception is that the Lipizzaners are from Spain.
So the misconception comes from the original riding school that was built by one of the empires. It is called the Spanish Riding School. So which is where the mistake comes in. As much as it's called the Spanish Riding School, it is located in Vienna in Austria. So, although it says Spanish, I promise you, they come from the Austrian Empire.
Because there's a very famous line in a movie starring Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman, where they talk about the Lipizzaners, and Hackman talks about how smart they are, and Denzel Washington points out that even though as adult horses they're Snow White, when they're born at birth, they're black.
They are. They are. Lipizzaners are very, very cool like that. They are, when they're born, they are dark black or very dark brown, and then over the years they turn into their silvery white that they're known for.
All right, so Lipizzaners, of course, international renowned, and you were saying now that they are now in South Africa.
They are. So about 75 years ago, obviously, you know, if you know your history, or you know whoever is a bit more of a history buffer than I am, you would have known the World Wars came around. So I always, again, you have to use examples that people know and that people have seen. So, you know, horses were used during war times for anything and everything, whether it be food, pulling cannons, going in the trenches. They were used for everything. But one of our founders, Count Jankovic Bajan, had a team and he had a family of Lipizzaners that him and his family had bred over the countless of hundreds of years. And he couldn't imagine this happening to his beloved Lipizzaners. So on one fateful night, he strapped them all to carts and carriages, covered them in oil and paraffin, and made them look dreadful. Something you wouldn't want to eat, let alone harness in a carriage. And he made the way all the way to England during winter. And when they found in England, they recuperated for a little while. And then the next question came. what do we call home now? You know,
And they came to South Africa.
They came to South Africa. They actually landed in the port of Durban.
Yeah.
And then we set up shop in Kailama where we started performing. And we were there for a good 73 years until we made the big move.
Are there Lipizzanas in other countries as well?
They are. Lipizzanas are worldwide. However, when you come to
Right.
schools that are traditional and continue the traditions that the empire has created and showcasing the movements that they use, there's only about 3, which we are one of.
Okay. All right, so Lipizzanas now, they were in Johannesburg for a while. Obviously, they've made the wise move to migrate to Cape Town, into the Western Cape.
They have.
How does that work for you guys then from an eventing point of view? I mean, this is one of the big aspects of the Lipizzanas is performing for the crowd, getting people to come and buy tickets and watch it. So is that what's happening now?
It is. So we're a non-profit organization. So we're not only there to preserve the breed, but also to preserve the history that they carry. But to do that, we need performances.
Yeah.
So the move came really, to follow the tourism. What better place
Right.
to come than Cape Town for the tourism? So, we are linked with, Cape Town Tourism and a few other companies to really help us get that message out there. But obviously, as all businesses are still recuperating after COVID, we haven't quite hit our stride yet, but we're really hoping to hit it hopefully this year. This is a great start to it, so I'm very excited.
So does that then mean that you go? Do you put on specific performances?
We do.
Or is it sort of a buy your daily ticket to come look at the Lipizzanas sometime during the day?
So as much as we always say people are more than
like
welcome to join us on a
Butterfly
normal
World, you
day,
can just-
yeah, but
really?
we're a little bit different, I promise.
Okay, yeah.
So we have regular performances the first Sunday of every month, but obviously
Right.
we also have a few additional dates that we're just to make it a little bit fun.
Yeah.
Some of our really well-known dates are Mother's Day. We always do a Mamma Mia spin on it, and I promise you,
Right.
if you think you've seen Dancing Queens, you haven't seen these horses go. And then, of course, for Father's Day, we like to take a little bit of a spin on it, and we do a bit of a Top Gun flight. So we try and really add these additional dates, especially over like the Christmas period where we have multiple shows, just so people can get a feel for the horses and really meet them.
Folks, we're busy talking to Jhani van der Berg. She's the stud manager at Mystico, where the South African Lipizzanas are, of course, what's the word? Stabled?
Based, we are based, yes.
Based, stabled, yeah. So we're going to carry on talking to Jhani after the break about the Lipizzanas that are here in Cape Town. It's a fascinating subject. We've been trying to find out more about the Lipizzanas and within the structures of equestrian for a long time now. We know that they've been in Cape Town. We're going to talk more about that after the break. Don't go away. Back in a sec.